place. And I remember thinking, this is not the job for me. If I have to run to the toilet every day to cry...
Thank you. Takes one to know one.
Oh, you're kind.
As we are in this season of waiting, we have to wait in style.
Hey, I agree with you on that one.
We cannot drop the ball now.
You have to.
Yes, here. This is where we are.
Right, absolutely.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Y.K.T.V. New set, new show, new vibes, new energy. This particular episode has me so excited because you people have been singing and shouting here how I am struggling to get my country people to come and support me and just tell their amazing stories. And I must give a shout out to Shee because she did not even hesitate. She was like, girl, let's do it. I'm in to try something new. I'm willing to take risks, and damn, do I have a good story. And since I know hints and bits of this story, I can for sure tell you it's a good one. Welcome, everybody, to another exhilarating episode of Dubai Diastories. And today I have my friend of over a decade. You know, hassle-free friendship, where you don't have to talk every day. Yeah. If you bump into each other, and you pick up from where you left off and you keep going. That is the definition of our friendship, and this support means the world to me. So welcome to Dubai Diastories, darling. I must say you look absolutely stunning.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Pretty lady, pretty in pink. Come on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm
very
so
excited to be here.
How was your week? Easter? How did it go?
Did I even notice it was spent trying to explain to the little one why we have eggs and why people are going egg hunting?
How did he take it?
Well, that's another story for another day because
Awesome.
I think what it is now, we've really gotten into this thing of making Easter about eggs, and there's nothing wrong with a little fun.
Correct.
But it's good to teach them what Easter really is about.
Correct.
So that's where we are right now.
No, I know that you're very big on spirituality.
I am.
You're very, very big on values. It resonates through your content, through how you carry yourself, your poise. You're too blessed to be stressed, honey. And that's the energy I'm here for.
I'll say amen to that.
Amen. It's the Lord's doing. It's the Lord's doing. Hello.
Amen. Amen.
Cool. So give us a little bit of a background about yourself. Since I don't want to overdo, you tell us who you are and anything you'd like people to know.
Right. My name is Shiron, and I'm a wife.
Whoop.
I'm a mother. I am an interior designer, and I am in school. I'm allowed to say that?
Yes.
I'm in school.
I love that for you.
Right. I'm in school trying to, run after those degrees because you need them.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
And basically a career woman as well.
Nice.
I wear all these hats.
Nice. So where would you like us to start from? So Dubai Diastories, as you know, is where we just talk about the journey of taking the plunge, taking the risk, being bold enough to say, I'm going to fit my life in a suitcase, risk it all, and start my journey in a foreign country, right? But I recently got to discover something very interesting about you. You also have kind of like a radio background.
I do.
Girl, spill the tea. How, when, why? And I was so insulted because you have the face for TV.
Oh, my word. What happened? I used to work for an advertising agency in Kenya.
Okay.
And Rose Kimotho
wow.
happened to pass by the agency. And I don't remember how it went. It was a while back, but then we started teasing about being on radio.
Okay.
And when I spoke Kikuyu, she said, you need to come around. I thought it was a joke. I left it at that. And trust me, she did follow up. And
For
I
real?
I went for an audition. And I knew how to speak Kikuyu because, I can speak Kikuyu like a truck driver.
Give us a little bit. Show us a little
I'm
side
telling you, that is actually that's my comfortable zone when I speak Kikuyu. And so the only thing I had to go through is a little training because, as you know, when you're on radio, you don't really speak the way you speak normally.
True.
You've got to amplify your voice.
Tonal variations.
Right.
True.
So that's all I needed to learn.
Wow.
And of course, I needed to learn a little bit more of, you call them medhalis.
Yes.
Medhalis in Kiswahili.
Well, technically, medhalis these days are memes.
Yes.
Because some memes
Yes.
hit you so hard, you're like, is this talking to me?
That is true.
Yeah, I think memes are the modern day medhalis.
Right.
Wise sayings, I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
And in Kikuyu, we call them vimo. So you really had to inject those memes, Kikuyu memes in your talk. So those were the things I needed more training on.
Do you think like it made you fall in love with the language even more since you were learning all of these things?
Yes, it did.
Nice.
I mean, I've always been really proud to be a Kikuyu.
Okay.
People talk about karma and what they would probably want to be in another life. I still want to be a Kikuyu. That's how Jamadoga I am, you know?
I love that.
Yeah, I really enjoy speaking Kikuyu, yeah.
So how long were you at Kameme?
I want to say I was working at Kameme concurrently with the agency.
Okay.
So I want to say a little bit over 2 years, if my memory serves me right.
Nice.
But it was 2 years of absolute fun.
Amazing. Yeah, like I feel like that's the one job where you don't actually feel like you're working.
Right.
Right? It's just, it's giving people joy. It's so rewarding, and even better when you know like you don't look like how you're speaking at that point.
Right.
Like I would see you more of like a lifestyle show and everything. And then here I have you on a local dialect radio station. It's like, wow, when I finally see you and I'm like, this is the face behind the voice, I'll be like even more impressive, right?
It was actually quite a surprise for many because I remember Kameme used to organize road shows, what you'd call road shows, where people would somehow gather or buy tickets for dinner, like in Safari Park, and then it would be a time for them to meet their favorite presenters.
Okay.
And I remember I was dressed up in an Indian outfit because I had another event with the agency later that evening. It was Valentine's Day. Ooh. And I had all this shiny stuff. We had Arabian Night. And we got told from above, you have to show up, even for 5 minutes.
Please.
I was told it doesn't matter, you work for an agency, you also work for Kameme. So I had to show up. And I remember standing where the safari cats in Safari Park usually perform, the stage. And
God,
I introduced myself.
You've taken me so far. Like I've literally smelt the makuti of the safari park when you're walking in. Oh my, that's such a throwback.
You know that wooden raised yeah. So that's where everyone was standing up and introducing themselves. And I remember I stood up and I introduced myself and everyone went like, this one? And I mean, I know now Kenya has become a melting pot, but back then, that we're talking about 17 years ago, it was very odd that this is you speak Kikuyu like that.
That fluently, that deep.
Right. It was quite a surprise for me.
I honestly think if it was in this era of Instagram, you would have still been at Kameme because it's like you are the gift that keeps giving. They were probably expecting like maybe an old school auntie who's deep and understands the dialect and then shows up this young, glam, pretty young thing and she understands her culture. That's like, but anyway, everything happens for a reason.
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Nice.
Yeah, and I got given really good, I mean, I had co-hosts, so I got given really good people that I really gelled with in terms of chemistry and even, work-wise. So it was a blast.
Nice. So agency and Kameme, were those the only jobs you worked in Kenya before you came to Dubai?
Yes, although I worked for the UN before.
Girl!
Yeah, I know, but a short stint. And I quickly migrated, and I know UN seems to be a really good, a dream workplace or dream job. But what I was doing literally used to be a downer for me because it was when we had refugees coming over. So that was too heavy for me. And
you were young also.
Yeah, it was. And I remember thinking, this is not the job for me. If I have to run to the toilet every day to cry, because we are the ones who used to place refugees in camps and to decide whether they actually qualify for asylum. So what do you say to somebody? Sometimes you can't take everyone. The camps can only accommodate certain people, a certain number of people. So it was a bit of a...
That's
and I know
emotional
some people
tasking.
doing beautifully, but for me, it was really a bit of a downer.
That's very true. And I can imagine also it being a dream job. They pay very generously.
Right.
But at that point, you were emotionally intelligent enough to know that not what the pay, not what the pedigree and the respect. This is just too much for me.
Right.
And I'm choosing myself.
Right.
That's can I be very honest? I am discovering that now.
Right.
In this my big age.
Right.
Because for a very long time I was stuck in the corporate rut, and there were days where it was rewarding, but most days I would feel like I'm losing pieces of myself instead of pieces of myself coming together.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I took the leap of faith, or I'd say fear. And it's been tough, but the days where I cry my own pain.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Very admirable.
Yeah, so I cry my own pain, and I know that it is a step in the right direction. It's just a bad day, not a bad life.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But then when you feel like your life is being controlled by someone else because of a job,
right.
that's out of your bounds and control. So for you to choose yourself, girl,
right.
You are wise.
Right. No, it was really heavy on me. And no offense to anyone who's able to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually admire anyone who,
True.
my workmates who are able to do it, where they are able to separate emotion and work. But for me, I just found myself really struggling in that sense. So,
and it's okay to admit that you're struggling.
Yeah,
you know?
It wasn't
I love
for me.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's jump. Fast forward. How did you make the decision to come to Dubai?
Right.
Walk me through that phase of your life. How was it like? Why Dubai? Why not anywhere else?
Right. I worked for, obviously, I said the agency in Kenya. And I remember thinking, then I got poached by Capital FM. Yes, but not on the radio side. I was actually heading their marketing and events.
Okay.
And I don't remember it being, I mean, it was a fantastic place, but I don't remember it being the place for me. I felt at the time that, you know, maybe I wasn't a good fit for the place. And I just wanted to transition elsewhere. I remember they actually poached me from the agency.
Wow.
Gave me almost like double or triple pay. So I was like, oh, yeah. And I was going to do marketing, which is what I was doing at the agency. Only now I was becoming
In-house,
the client.
yeah. You were flipping the script.
Yes, I was flipping the script, and I was super excited about it. But after 3 months, I remember the general manager calling me at the time and saying, oh, I don't think we've reached our targets with you in terms of what you were supposed to deliver. And at the time, I was very confused because
I think 3 months is very unfair.
It is, and I felt like for the first time I had the billboards up. I had made people were wearing Capital FM T-shirts, and
caps.
I thought that and I thought I was doing fantastic. This is another thing when you think you're doing really well, and someone calls you and tells you like they don't think, and there was no warning. Like, you know, when you have each month when you review your performance, it was a bit odd at the time, but that happened a lot at Capital FM in the sense that.
No explanations given. You're out.
Yes, but
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And so I remember being very heartbroken and thinking, oh, now I've been poached and now I don't have a job. I've actually lost my job.
Okay, so now when you were at Capital, you had to forgo Kameme.
Right.
Yes.
Right, because now it was more taxing in terms of time. I was 23 or 24. I bought myself a new car from Japan.
Come on.
And then here the job is over.
Madness.
So that really, really hit me badly. And I remember thinking, I just want to work in a place where it's very professional. There's no cliques and politics. That politics at the time, I'm not saying that's how it is now, but at the time when I worked there, I felt that politics sort of environment wasn't meant for me.
Correct.
So then I decided to move to Dubai, and I remember I didn't even look for this job.
For real?
I came to visit, and you know,
came to visit your friend, family?
Yes,
okay.
Friend.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, wow, it would be really nice to get a job here. And he used to tell me all the time, oh my goodness, you're so intelligent. You've held such good posts. I mean, I was very humbled by his compliments. Why don't you try to work in Dubai? And I was thinking, I mean, you know how
I just
now.
bought my car in Kenya. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just trying
I
to
need to
settle
even,
and
yeah.
like, oh my God, now start over again.
Over again. And lucky for me, when I lost my job with Capital, even before I lost it, I remember Pan Africa approaching me and telling me, we want you. So that was, I was just going through the medicals.
Girl, you are favored.
Yeah.
Own it.
That is favor.
Own it.
Yeah.
It's favor.
I wasn't the best in the industry or anything, but I remember the GM telling me, go for a medical because hospitality, you've got to do the medical. And then whilst they processed that, I decided to come and visit Dubai. And that's when I was just taking it easy. And then I got an email. I actually deleted it because I thought it was spam.
Oh my goodness.
And this agency was telling me, we know you used to handle the bank in Kenya in terms of the advertising or
the agency. Yeah.
The marketing bit of it. Would you like to come and work for us and handle marketing for Africa? And
you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I couldn't believe it.
Is someone going to jump out of the email and say, you've been punked?
You've been pranked. That's what I thought.
You know?
And I was showing my friend the email, and then we are talking, and then I get another email.
Wow.
From another agency also asking me to join them.
Interesting.
So I got a total of about 3 agencies, and this has never happened to me. By no means should you think this is my life, but it's never happened to me. But about 3 or 4 companies were fighting to have me on board. And it was I had sleepless nights in a good way. I'd go to this one and say, look, I think I've decided I'm going to join this one. She said, then they would up my salary, and then I'd go back, and this one. It was like, but I'm thankful. That was really the beginning of my career of being in Dubai.
For context, do you mind telling us which year this is?
Oh, my goodness.
Let's go there. Let's go there.
Right. When was this? I want to say it was 2007.
Yo.
Yeah, 2007.
OG's in the building.
2007 at a very tender age of, I think, 20-something. So maybe now you can calculate my age.
Do the math, honey. She don't look like it. I know.
Right.
And I said it. Yes.
Yeah.
Black don't crack.
I'm now on 4th floor.
Hey, I'm heading there. Close.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
Amazing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's been boggling my mind. We met 10 years plus, probably.
Right.
But I can't remember if the first place we met was Ibis or Zinc.
Oh, my goodness. You've
I
taken me
swear.
far.
Do you remember the picture of me, you, Ndanu?
Yes.
And then funny enough, now later in life, I came and I met another girl called Carol.
Right.
And Carol is really close to my other very good friend, like one of my deep, deep friends called Janice.
Right.
And then one day I posted it as a throwback.
Right.
And she's like, my older sister is in that picture.
Oh, my goodness.
And her older sister's relocated back to Kenya, married, settled. So she's like, girl, you've been here that long?
Right.
And it took me back, and I was just like, the days we were young, wild, and free.
Good old days.
Good old days.
When we used to party without Instagram.
Period.
There's no receipts.
No receipts, no evidence, just memories.
Yeah,
if you
true.
know, you know.
If you know, you know. Those were good old days.
And then I remember you've always had an affinity for decor. You're just very poised, very panache. When we used to come to your place in Garhood and you'd cook for us, and you always had like a care package for us, like with a cologne and a perfume and like happy socks.
Right.
Like you've always just been that girl.
I've always loved decor.
Yes.
Yeah. I've always loved decor. I don't think I can even pinpoint at what point I felt like I need to do it now. But I remember even in campus, we used to be given those cubicles.
Yes.
Anyone from Mo University, hey.
Hey, shout out.
And I remember we had these little cubicles, and I had just brought a carpet, had brought stuff. And I remember my friends used to come to my room and go like, oh my goodness, this doesn't feel like a campus. Because I've got my own, a campus hostel. I remember I had a friend called Alice Mwalimo and the gang. They were forever camping
in your place.
At my place and telling me,
Room yako ndo ilikuwa base.
that was the base.
Base ya udako.
Right. Plus, I had the little telly. I had, I'd really zhuzhed it up to look homey. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So why now did you finally decide to take your passion seriously in terms of decor? Was there like a light bulb moment, or for me personally, I feel the pandemic birthed my podcast. So what was the turning point for you in cultural home decor? Because I remember just one day you DM'd me, and as usual, me and you don't talk every day.
Yeah.
And you were like, I've always loved your stories. I've always loved this. I was like, girl,
Yeah.
do it. You've had it. I'm finally glad you're taking the plunge. In fact, you're late.
Right.
You have been delaying us.
Right.
So please, no retreat, no surrender.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So what was like the turning point for you to actually decide to do it seriously?
Again, it was the pandemic.
Really?
Yeah, much as people, lots of maybe not so great things happened
Yeah.
over the pandemic. We lost a lot of friends who had lost their jobs and all that. But the pandemic was a turning point, as you say. I remember one day waking up and telling my husband, I'm going to start an Instagram page. And I knew nothing about Instagram. I said, I'm going to start
Had you ever been on any social media?
I had on
Okay.
Facebook,
Okay.
but very
Scanty,
yeah,
not consistent.
I'm not very, active. And I remember saying, I'm going to start this thing called Instagram. And then I'm going to try, fix my house, do little things and see what kind of response I get from people. So you're the only person I'll tell, you follow me. Let me see how it's received by people. And meanwhile, before then, I used to spend lots of time going through, teaching myself about using softwares, for home decor, doing 3D renderings and stuff like that. I really used to enjoy it, but just for fun.
Nice.
Then I remember seeing Oprah saying, do something or try chase your passion in a way that if you did it, you could any day do it for free. And I thought, what is that for me? And for me, it is decor. And I remember, when Facebook came around and you're catching up with old high school friends, I remember people looking mostly like, oh, how is she now? What is she doing now? No, me, I was just looking at the background, like, how is their house?
What painting is that?
Yeah.
Ooh, nice
How
color.
does their house
Are
look?
those tiles?
Yeah.
Or is it, what's this one? Gypsum that they use,
That's always been me. Like, I wasn't even looking at the person. And that's when I knew, wow. So I start this page. And on the third day, I remember receiving 600 follows from nowhere.
Wow.
Right. Turns out someone had shared
I
a
shared it
picture,
too.
of a setting I'd done, and there we were. It started, yeah,
Imagine.
right.
And I think that instant gratification, it either comes instantly to tell you, keep going,
right.
or it delays you to help you build the resilience to not give up.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. Yeah, I totally agree.
Nice.
Yeah.
I find, and I'm not very big on decor, to be very honest. You know how I'm always telling you, babe, which cushions should I buy? My house is red. My owner is like, okay, relax, show me. Go for something neutral. Get white curtains. And I'm like, I would have never even thought like that.
Right.
So, like, what's your go-to style for, like, interior decoration? Tell me more.
Do you know, I think more like fashion, interior decor changes a lot. You'll see things that used to feature maybe last year are no longer featuring that much. Maybe, it is really like fashion.
Correct.
Those of you who've been on my Instagram page,
Excuse
you'll see...
me, subtle flex right now. Can you drop the handle?
It's cultural _ home decor.
Cultural _ home decor. I'll put it inside the description box, please. You will learn not one, not two, not three, many things of how you can turn your home into your heaven.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for that. So it's really goes through a metamorphosis. Like, I used to love being my decor being more like African. And now I've moved more to the minimalistic bit of things just for my own mind, because I feel like if I have too many things, then for me personally, it clutters my mind.
Got it.
But you know what? There are people who love it when they've got pictures everywhere.
Busy.
I mean, all styles are amazing as long as you feel comfortable and you love your home.
I'm so glad you said that. You know why? Because the last few months, I feel like I've been going to visit some of my friends and all their houses look the same.
Right.
Because it's like I saw it on Pinterest or I saw it on a showroom in a furniture store and I got everything as per display.
Right.
But I feel like your house should show your personality.
Absolutely.
Give a certain energy that is unique to you.
Right.
So as much as you have said trends come and go,
right,
but does your house show me who you are?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know this out of maybe not being very savvy with decor, there are people that walk into a store and say, nifungie hizi zote,
zote funga tu kama wale wa kwenda shopping kwa mall. Hii mannequin toa nguo zake zote.
Just give it to me as it is. Yeah. And I always advise people, as you said, let your home tell a story of who you are. Pick bits and pieces. And I know there was a time when it was so fashionable to have matchy stuff. You'd get the stools, the table, but now that isn't it. Try, see what you can pick up, a table here, stools there, that tell a story of who you are. Yeah, as opposed to it looking like it's come out of a catalog. Yeah.
Okay, back to it. So now you were telling the agencies were fighting for you here and there, everywhere.
Right.
So which one do you mind telling us, like, which one did you finally take and settled here? Okay.
I chose Memak Ogilvy, which is Middle Eastern Ogilvy and Mather, because I'd worked for Ogilvy and Mather in Kenya.
Nice.
And I loved it. The people were welcoming. And it's funny because I felt like they were quite excited about me being exotic of sorts. They
diversity
only had
hire.
I was a diversity hire, I think.
But the funny thing is that you're a very interesting diversity because yes, we get it, you're from Kenya.
Right.
Yes, you've worked for Ogilvy there, so you understand the inner workings.
Right.
But then also you look mixed.
Yes.
So there's that part.
Right.
So you're like a layer, an onion. You have so many layers that I think that's what intrigues the interest.
Right.
Nice. That's your superpower, actually.
Oh, thank you.
That what you look is not what you get.
I remember walking in when the CEO had directly contacted me, and I went in. And obviously I was wearing my fro.
Yeah.
So I showed up. And I remember his eyes going like, and I thought, shucks, he's going to change his mind because maybe I look too out there. And I remember him saying, I'm not asking any questions. When do you want to start? Wow. Yeah, because he said, we really want to make our company multicultural. And here you are, you've got lots of experience coming from Kenya. And I said yes, immediately, of course, I said yes. And I had to say, apologize to the other agency.
Oops. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, but I remember them putting me on an ad. We shot the Powerhouse ad, which is a energy
common
drink here.
Yeah.
And I remember having a culture shock because in Kenya, my agency, we used to go and shoot in India or do it locally. And here we were shooting, going to Rome to shoot with that time, The Italian Job, which was a big movie.
Oh, yes, with the Mini Coopers.
Right.
That's my mom's favorite movie.
Oh,
because she had a movie, a Mini, when I was growing up.
Really?
That was her car. Yeah. So we had DVDs. That was like a special DVD. And one of our friends got it for her because she drives a Mini.
Right.
So one of our friends got her like a mini miniature. And then the original DVD.
Right. I love it. I remember the Mini Cooper owners used to have like an association.
Yes,
even in Kenya, I think it's still there.
Yeah. De Elegance. They used to go as the mini crew.
Right.
And they do like a drive all the way, following each other. My happiest weekends. And then in some cases, my mom was the only female driver. So just seeing her like interact and be like the star of the show, I loved it for her.
And wasn't it amazing? It used to look like a really small car, but it had lots of space.
And personality too.
Right.
Yeah, obviously. This is before the Yaris and the Vitz and the Mazda. So
Your
that
mom was with it.
I got it from my mama, honey.
I hear you.
I did get it from my mama.
I hear you. Yeah, I remember that movie too. It was really good. But I remember that's where, when my first advertisement working in the UAE, the director of the movie was who we were shooting with, Powerhouse.
No way.
And I was like, somebody pinch me, you know?
Am I alive? Is this for real? Am I dreaming?
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Levels.
Yeah. I loved Ogilvy and Mather Dubai. But unfortunately, my mom wasn't feeling well. I remember I used to be so busy and never seeing my house during the day because I was so immersed in my job.
Yeah.
And I had to leave for a bit. And then when I got back after my mom felt better, now I joined my current company.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
But I miss Ogilvy every day. That was a really good company.
Would you ever reconsider going back to agency?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And they were all really friendly, really good. They they opened their doors to me. So many things I didn't understand about, obviously, you understand, being new and learning about the market at the time.
True.
They were quite...
And the internet wasn't as robust as it is right now.
Exactly, yeah.
I keep telling, like, I remember the other day, my friend called me and he was like, Yvette, you have a very interesting style of delivering tough love.
Right.
And he has a couple of salespeople. He's in digital. They create content for people.
Right.
And he's like, I need you to come and talk to my staff. Like, I feel like they're getting too comfortable.
Right.
And, you know, like, I'm looking at how sluggish they are. Like, they just have a very slow culture, but they're talented. Typical creatives.
Right.
And I'm looking at them like, oh, I have to leave for my meeting, but it's only like 10 minutes away. So it's fine. I live like in 20. I'm in no rush.
Oh,
and
my
I'm
word.
like, do you know when I started selling in Dubai, I used to use a location map.
Oh, my goodness.
There was no Google
That's
Maps.
True. There was no Google Maps.
There was no Google Maps.
Yeah, I remember.
In 2009, Dubai, we didn't have Google Maps. Like, you had to go to the company. If I'm coming to meet Y.K.T.V, I have to go to Y.K.T.V's website.
Right.
Go onto their location where we are.
And follow the map.
And follow the map. Even download it and print it.
Right.
And have it with me with my meeting notes. And then the worst part is, at that point, I was not driving.
Oh, dear.
So I had to calculate and see, so where am I? And then ask someone. And then how I used to mark locations, which ended up being one of the most stupid things I did, was buildings. But this is Dubai. The building is there today.
And tomorrow it's not there.
It's been covered by something else.
That is true.
I remember even when I did a visa change and I went home for my first time, like now moving from visit visa to residency.
Right.
I was in Kenya for, I think, about a month and a half.
Right.
And when I came back, do you know, from the airport to go to my house, I got lost.
I hear you.
I got lost.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, my house used to be here.
Right.
Why? What is this?
Where is it? And
Where
the
is
roads
it?
change all the time.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So you, and then the worst part is sometimes I find it very insulting because 16 years later, I go back home and home still looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate because it preserves the soul and the originality of life.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm like, are you guys not curious to develop?
Right.
You know?
This place started when Kenya was way ahead of independence. True. And sometimes it's a bittersweet feeling.
Correct.
Like you go home and it's nostalgic and it's the same.
Correct.
But here, I remember exactly what you're saying. Driving and thinking, that's my house. And I'm going past it, but that road that used to lead me in there, it's
no longer there.
It's no longer there. They're
True.
Constantly changing things and upgrading their roads. It's tough if you don't know where you're going.
True,
Yeah.
but we live and learn.
That's true.
Different experiences.
Right.
Let's switch it up a little bit and go into a little bit of your personal life.
Right.
And I'll start from this point of view, just by starting by saying, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, and I was just telling her that it would be very difficult for me to marry somebody or settle down with anyone as a partner if you have not lived outside.
True.
I can't date someone who has born, raised, lived in Kenya because I just feel like there's a level of exposure
Right.
That you can't find. The internet is great and everything, but experiential.
Right.
Nothing beats being in the system of a
Absolutely.
different place and witnessing yourself from, okay, fine, Kenya is great, irrespective of its quirks and limitations.
Right.
This place will also have that. So I feel like that exposure
Right.
upgrades you to a new level that you can never downgrade.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And at the age I am right now, I don't want to explain my soul to anyone.
I hear you. I hear you. I'm with you. I really agree with you in the sense that you could have all, I don't know how to put it, but if you don't have that exposure, it's very difficult
True.
to gel or to really, for the person to really understand you.
True.
I don't know, there's something, and we say this even for kids, exposure, not even money can buy exposure. Yeah. And I absolutely feel it's a legit feeling.
Thank you.
Yeah, I felt it too as well.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
trying to date around before my husband, and sometimes you'd meet guys, and they're no offense, great guys, and but if they've not really maybe traveled or been out there, then it becomes a bit difficult
A
to
bit of
gel.
a challenge.
Yeah.
And I also don't want it to come out like I'm emasculating you or I'm better
Right.
than you.
Right.
But it is what it is. It ain't working.
Right. No, that's true. I
Nice.
remember even Trevor Noah saying travel really exposes you, and yeah, it's the antidote for,
Yes,
I don't know.
yes.
I don't even
the
know.
antidote for ignorance, I
Right,
would say.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And what really amazes me is that something can be completely wrong in one country and another place it's completely okay.
Absolutely.
And people are just coexisting. And you realize that that fixed mindset of thinking that there's only one way of life
Right.
is what restricts your imagination, your creativity. Like when you realize that there are no bounds.
Right.
And experience the world and the universe as it comes.
Absolutely.
That's where the magic happens.
That is true. I'm with you 100%.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Speaking of marriage,
Right.
we were just having a little bit of a conversation before this, and you said something that completely spoke to my soul. Just say what you said again, and then we can pick up the conversation. Where you were talking about getting married later in life.
You know, I think this happens to the best of us as ladies. And as soon as you turn 28,
Hey.
30,
I want to hug you right now.
pressure cook up. The
I
pressure
swear.
is on.
I swear. And for me, I even became a woman that I could not recognize.
Right.
Because at 28, I got diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Right.
And I had never interacted
hear
with the healthcare system here in UAE.
Right.
Just recently now, I know what to vet, how to properly vet a good doctor out of working for a healthcare company. Before,
Right.
I would just ask, oh, take me here, take me here.
Right.
And then I went to see this doctor, and her delivery, the way she told me I have PCOS, she made me feel like it was a death sentence.
Right.
And she was like, oh, you're depleting your eggs. You need to have a baby. You can't, it'll be so hard for you after 35 because your eggs are shrinking. And I was just like, I have to get married. I have to get married. I have to get married. And it was now like a monkey on my back.
Right.
And one day I woke up and I was like, what the hell is happening to me? Like, this is something that I literally don't have control over.
Right.
I can put my effort, but I should not expect that my effort will guarantee results.
Right.
And then I had a mental breakdown. And then that backed up by the pandemic, being alone with my thoughts.
I know.
And then it made me realize, even now for me, I think what my biggest problem was, I was going through something called transference. Because now after I lost my mom,
Right.
and then my dad died also when I was younger, I was like, I have all this love and I'm an only child, but I don't know where to put it. And society is dictating for me that I'm ripe for marriage and everything. I'm like, but why is it not happening?
Right.
And I almost lost myself. But I think one of the best decisions that I did was to pull myself out of that.
Right.
And I had people like you to tell me and remind me that it can happen for you when it's right.
Right.
So thank you for validating me in my madness to realize that not one shoe fits all.
Absolutely not.
Everybody has their own journey. Embrace it.
Right.
To the point that I even had a friend of mine telling me, I think that is the curse of Dubai. I think that's the curse of Dubai. You get so used to being independent and being on your own because life and access is so easy. Lifestyle is smooth and everything. You can be your own person and kind of like shadow yourself for a while and focus on that career. And then you hit 28 and you're like, oh, I need a man. I need a man. I need a man. I need to have kids.
Right.
So let's just walk through that journey. For anybody out there who's probably going through what I'm going through, I want them to find hope through your story.
That's true. Well, I think like many of the best of us, I have met quite a few frogs.
Preach.
Yeah, slim pickings, my friend. Things are thick. Yeah, I have met my share of what you'd call frogs in a metaphoric sense. I'm sure they probably were better for someone else, but not for me. But I remember going through what you've gone through. And I think now it's more rampant where women have, if not this, I want to call it ailment or condition, because we're getting a lot of uterine issues now.
True.
I remember the doctor telling me I went in for a normal check. I was wearing heels at work. And I remember feeling, I went to the doctor and I said, I think my heels have given me some sort of sciatic
thing.
Yeah, I'm
sciatic
feeling
backache.
And then he said to me, lie down. And I was like, Dr. David, why am I lying down? It's my heels. You need to be checking the back, my leg. And he said, I know what I'm doing. And he touched my tummy and he said, I'm going to send you to an ultrasound. I remember going for the ultrasound and the lady who did my ultrasound, bless her cotton socks, she was maybe without tact or maybe she was just shocked. I remember her doing this. And then I asked her, what? And she said, Madam, you have a very big fibroid. You don't know that you've got a fibroid? And I remember feeling like my tummy was a little bulged. But then I thought, oh, maybe it's what I've been eating. As you grow older,
Correct.
your
The
metabolism,
bloating and
the
everything.
bloating. And I've always had a flat tummy. So I was like, oh, maybe
Girl,
it's,
you've always been snatched.
Oh, well.
It is what it is.
Oh, I work out a lot. I'm a fitness enthusiast, although now I'm slacking a little bit. But, anyways, she touched she showed me, and it was huge. And she measured it on the instrument and told me it is about 18 centimeters.
No.
Yeah. In context, it's pretty much
massive.
like the head of a
True,
human
a
being.
baby watermelon.
Right. And I remember my emotions were all over the place because when you've got something in your uterus, it doesn't distinguish that it's not a child.
Correct.
So your hormones are up and down. And I remember the doctor telling me, we need to take it out. And if you want to have a child, we need to take it out. And I remember at the time I was dating my husband, who's now my husband. He was my boyfriend.
Hey,
and
shout out,
shout out to my husband, James. But things weren't going that great. I know we'd have our normal ups and downs. And we'd break up. And I'm like, now, where the hell am I supposed to be getting this baby from? And, I say this with no offense. I know there's women who are like, well, if I get a child, okay. If I don't, I'm happy on my own.
Can I be very honest? I'm there right now.
Right.
I'm there right now.
And that's a good place to be. But for me, I was fixated. I knew I wanted to be a mother. And that's that was really where my depression began. I remember I used to be in the room. Evenings were my crying times. I didn't even want visitors, and I didn't want anyone to come to my house because evenings, and don't even go to birthdays, because when it was my birthday, it was my pity party on my own.
Correct. Another year, I haven't achieved this. I haven't done.
Right.
Because at the 30th month, I didn't even want to see anybody. I was just like, what is this
going on? Yeah.
This is not what I ordered.
Right, right. And you're being told now you need to have a child.
Correct.
And there's not even a man. I remember even my mom joking with me like, oh, just get a baby. We won't mind that.
Anyone, it's okay.
Right. And being spiritual, I knew I want a child with a father and a mother. That's the unit I want to bring up my child in. Yeah. And I know there's unfortunate things that have happened to families and people have ended up being single mother, single father. But I feel, and they're doing a great job because it's a difficult thing. But I feel like the way God meant it is for a child to have both.
Correct.
And so I wanted that for myself.
Correct.
And I remember feeling like this is the end of me. Yeah, we let's just face it, we're never going to be a mother.
Oh, God.
You know those negative things you tell yourself? Yeah.
I tell everyone, you can be your best friend or your worst enemy.
Absolutely.
And then the worst part about negative thoughts, they're like dominoes.
Right.
Once one just starts,
yeah.
I read somewhere, I don't know if I got the statistic right, it said it takes about 18 seconds to formulate a positive thought and actually let it sit with you.
Right.
But it takes 0.92 seconds to get a spiral with a negative thought.
Right. And back then, I must say, of course, I didn't say I'm a born-again Christian, but back then I wasn't. And my spirituality was, wobbling here and there. But I think there's something being spiritual and grounded tells you. I started thinking, I remember in the context of it all, I got born again. And I thought to myself, I want to live a really pure life. I really want to meet the person that I'm supposed to meet. And this fibroid, this is not God's portion for me.
Amen.
And I tried to use herbs, you call them, like mitishamba, to get it out.
Correct.
But after, I remember that mitishamba doctor told me, no meat, no coffee, no tea, no nothing, raw vegetables. And trust me, Vet, I did it for a year.
No way.
And I told
One whole year?
Yes, a year and a half, I think. And I went to Dr. Ibrahim, who was my doctor here in Dubai. And he kept on telling me, Shiro, let's take this thing out. And I'm like, no, I'm doing something holistic. You just give me a moment.
Ayurvedic, natural remedies.
And I'm telling you, I used to pay for these herbs myself. And of course, the doctor, knowing that I'm from Dubai, used to give me mixtures, small little powders, and a pop was 30,000 Kenya shillings. Alternative medicine is not covered.
It is not covered.
So I used to pay from my out of pocket.
Yeah, of course.
And I remember going to Dr. Ibrahim like after a year and a half. This thing is no longer there. It's out. Then he says it has reduced by 4 centimeters.
Okay.
And I was thinking, by the time I take these herbs, and I used to drink this concoction.
1 year equals to 4 centimeters, what about the remaining 14?
It was a disaster. And that thing used to be the yuckiest thing to drink. I mean, I was like, okay, this is it. Now I listened to the doctor. And I remember he's Muslim, bless his soul. And he called me in and I remember saying, Dr. Ibrahim, I've given up and I will go with the surgery. Because he had told me, and the reason why I was avoiding the surgery, he had told me this thing is too big. If we pull it out and there's overbleeding, you must understand that our first priority is to save your life.
It's true.
So there's possibility we'll do a hysterectomy. So that wasn't good news and that really scared me. I
mean, this is the one thing we have been praying for, and then now you're telling me.
And now you're telling us that we won't be able to. And I forgot to say that, I had just gotten engaged to my then boyfriend, now husband.
I remember the day you showed us the bling.
And I say to myself now, what am I going to tell this guy? It's going to, if it turns into a hysterectomy, and he was more like me, he wants a child. He used to talk about a child a lot. And when I would bring up adoption, it'd be like, no, don't be negative. Let's God is going to give us our child. And now here the doctor is telling me it might end up in a hysterectomy. So eventually, I remember the night before the surgery, I told the doctor, he's really expressionless,
very stoic.
Very stoic, Dr. Ibrahim. And I told him, I know you're Muslim, but I need you to stand here with me. We're going to hold hands and we're going to pray. I know God... It's so weird to actually. I remember he looked at me, and for the first time, I saw a shocked expression, and I said, I know you believe in God, and I do, and I want God to use you. It will not be you operating me. It is you with the knowledge that God has given you.
Ooh,
so it was me. It was. So we stood there, his nurse, myself, and Dr. Ibrahim held hands. Very awkward moment for him, but I said it's gotta be done. And I prayed and I said, God, you shall send your angels. This couple shall move in your guidance.
Amen.
That's the way it's gonna go. I'm having a child, hook or crook, because that's your promise to me.
Amen.
You said I should ask and I will receive. Now all I want is a child, and I want this, operation to go well, the surgery. And I remember I'd already written to my husband, then he was a fiancé, we were planning the wedding, and I said, I think you need to withdraw, back up a little, because if my uterus is taken out, I don't want you to marry me out of obligation.
Oh my
I want
God.
you to...
Wait. Wait. That in itself is a massive...
Yeah, it was...
Girl, you're so selfless.
Well, I don't know. I think you kind of envision the future where perhaps your uterus is gone. And this guy, because he'd engaged you and now you're planning a wedding, he has to marry you. And then he resents you thereafter.
It's true.
Or you hear that he's made a girl outside pregnant.
Correct.
And it would break me. I knew myself.
That one will kill you.
Yeah. And so I said to him, I want you, and trust me, I do not have any ill feelings. I want you to break this engagement. And he said, what are you talking about? And he said, he's big on positive thinking. He said, stop thinking negative. And I said, no, I'm actually being realistic. And he said, no. I said, do not give me an answer now. Now we're planning that the next week.
The excitement of the wedding.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, I am cognitive enough to tell you this.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I said, take a week. Do not give me any answer. I want you, because he protested a lot. And I said, take a week, go think about it. Do not give me an immediate answer. And then I remember coming from work, and he was waiting for me. He had come from work earlier. He was waiting for me in his car, and he told me, find me in the car. And I sat there, remember, with my makeup and all.
Hey.
And I was there to hear the bad news.
You were ready to receive it with grace.
Yeah, I was there strong. he said to me, because I knew he'd always wanted kids, there was no other way this was going. He was here to tell me, okay, it's been a good run. Thank you for being that selfless, because you know honest. I want a child.
Yeah.
So I sat there and he said to me, I've thought a lot about what we talked about. And I have decided that it is you I want to be with.
Hey.
Yeah, if we do
Hey.
not...
Come and
I
see
could have
what the
twerked
Lord-
then, you know?
That's when the Nigerian mothers will be like, many were called, but
my
I was
goodness.
chosen.
With all the shakara, yeah. True. That was my exact feeling. I literally broke down and cried. And he said, if I know God is going to give us a child, but even if he doesn't and it's not his will, then I won't have to compete for your love with anyone. Oh. And that just had me ugly crying, you know?
All the makeup, all the
all
mascara.
The makeup, all the mascara.
Oh my God, that is so deep.
Yeah.
10 points. Wow. Secure the bag, my brother. Yes.
And we could go ahead with the wedding planning. And so the next week I was taken to hospital and we did the surgery. Remember opening my eyes, again, expressionless, Dr. Ibrahim. I couldn't tell, did it go well, did it not? I'm still under morphine or, I don't know, anesthesia.
Yeah.
Sorry, not morphine. And I looked at him. He had a slight smile and he said everything went really well. Shee, you should relax. Oh. And then I fell asleep again. If you've been for surgery, you fall asleep again. When I woke up, I was like, hey, hang on. I forgot
to ask the most important question.
Is my uterus still there?
Yeah.
Maybe he did tell me that the surgery went well.
But I didn't remember.
Waiting for me to be stronger so he can give me the news. Because you're put in a separate ward.
Correct.
There's no one. So then they willed me. They told me you're stronger now, the nurses. And I was asking them. They didn't know anything. They kept on telling me it went well. And then they willed me to where my husband was waiting. And when I saw his smile, I knew it went well. I knew it went well. But he did tell me, Shiro, your uterus is still there, but it's not going to be that easy to conceive. So you must start trying immediately. Meanwhile, I'm telling my husband, until the wedding, you wait. Yeah.
You have to wait. All those old archaic rules. I beg, test drive your car. They've already known the road to the village. Why are you depriving yourself of happiness?
You know? But I'd seen what we are working
good.
with. You gotta see what you're working with.
As we are good.
As we are where we are. Anyways, the short of the long is my son was a honeymoon child. When we came back.
That is so cute.
I know.
I love a happy ending.
When I came back, I said to my husband, I feel off. And he said, you can't be. I mean, the doctor said it's not going to be that easy to conceive. And sure enough, I was pregnant and my husband couldn't believe it. So we normally say our child is a miracle child.
Oh, for sure.
Because the struggles do not... I want to say they subside, but they don't end. I wanted a second one really, really badly. But after the pandemic and after they checked me up after the birth, I was like you, polycystic ovaries.
Oof.
Yeah, that makes it very difficult for you to conceive.
Yeah, very.
But
especially the older you get.
Right.
Do you mind telling us when you had your son? Because this is why the story is very inspirational.
Yes.
What age?
I was 38 when I had my son, yeah.
There is hope, my sister.
There is hope.
It's not easy, but it's not impossible.
Right.
Have hope.
Right. And I want to say to all the ladies looking out to meet somebody good, how many times you get 20, 25-year-olds or whatever age marrying quickly for the pressure of society and ending up with the wrong person?
Correct.
I mean, the best thing I ever did for myself is marry late.
Hey!
Till today, that's my...
I think the podcast is over because that is the hook we needed.
Right.
That is the hook. I'm sorry for my understanding and interrupting you. Please proceed.
There's a lady I follow on YouTube. I think her name is Fumi.
Yes, Fumi. Yes, I know her.
Yeah, she's also another encouragement.
Fumi Davis or something.
Right.
She's married to a white guy, right?
Right.
Yes, I know her.
She's so inspirational because your life could change in a matter of 6 months.
Correct.
As I was saying, today I could meet you. 5 months from now, you're telling me I've met the one.
Correct.
Yeah. And let me interject and say prayer really goes a long way. Yeah, praying for your partner, who you're going to meet.
Pray.
Yeah, pray.
Incessantly.
Pray. I know not everyone is spiritual, but even telling God, set aside whoever I shall end up with. And at your time, not my timing, because
Correct.
God's timing is sovereign. we tend to rush and probably, if I was told, if someone told me that you're going to end up with the one you were dating when you were 20 or 25, when I was there thinking, he's not serious about me, he's not texting me. The slim pickings and getting so upset that he's not maybe wanting me or he's not texting me as much. Today, thank God I waited. Makosa makubwa. So I think I say this to say patience and prayer.
Yeah. And also I read somewhere the other day that said that emotionally, like as women, our full frontal brain develops at 28.
Right.
26 to 28. Like that's when fully you have critical thinking, you have rationale, you have like all facets of your brain are working.
Right.
When you're way younger, it's easy for you to be manipulated.
Exactly. Oh, I remember. I have been manipulated as well.
Oh, girls. Been there, done that. Have the t-shirt.
Right. Right. And now, and having, just experiencing yourself as a woman, getting to know yourself before sharing your life with somebody. We say, get your own apartment, where you get home, throw the bra and, just have your own stuff and your own thing going before you share or decide to share your life with somebody.
I'm so glad you said that because, again, with my crazy friends, we were just chilling yesterday, having a couple of Easter drinks and a feast. And with the obvious, annoying, gender divisive question came up, like, oh, when a man asks you what you bring to the table. And then one of my male friends said, if a man really sees you for who you are, he will not even have to ask that question.
Absolutely. Oh,
he will not even have to
I feel like that's even offensive if somebody asks me that.
Correct.
Right.
I mean, please.
Yeah.
Put some respect on my name.
Right.
Yeah. So, and also don't take it from an offensive perspective because we also make it kind of like to always be about financial.
That's true.
But sometimes it could be you're bringing this man peace.
Right.
You're bringing him structure.
Intangibles.
Exactly. The things that he knows he cannot do for himself.
Right.
He has you.
Right.
So I tell women, don't be scared when someone asks that question. Being scared already is giving them the power.
Right.
So just be yourself.
Right.
And let your aura shine.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
Oh, what is one thing that motherhood has taught you that is just, probably it always comes to your mind and you're like, this was worth the wait?
I know for me, I always go back to saying, having my son, I know I believed in God and I was, just believed in God a good portion, a good amount. But I think having my son really solidified my faith in God. If I tell you, the things that we went through, even financially, because I had to drop out of work for very long and thinking, are we going to make it financially? But this child has brought nothing but blessings. Do you know, I asked my husband, where was all this money that we used to use? And I feel like I know God has blessed us more. Even looking at this child, I feel like it solidifies my faith in God.
True. It's like your heart outside of your chest.
Oh, yeah. And learning to really nurture another human being. I feel so blessed that God found me worthy enough to make me a mother. Like, take this little child and bring him up. I'm trusting you because he's not mine. He belongs to God. Take him and nurture him. I'm giving you the sole responsibility. I know there's people that walk around with kids and feel like it's a normal Tuesday. But for me, every day is a reminder that, God, how much you could have loved me. I tell him sometimes, which is silly, I tell him, Didi, because we call him Didi, Didi, put out your tongue. And he goes like, and then I tell him, I can't believe you have a real tongue. That does it taste? For me, I've lived my life. If they tell you, or I've read this before, live your life as though everything is a miracle and you'll never be short of, gratitude.
That's true.
Right.
True. Very true. I normally say, interrupt your anxiety with gratitude.
Right.
Every time you feel like things are falling apart, everything is not working as you would like it to, think of 10 things you can count that are blessings. And it's small, like I have 10 fingers, I have 10 nails, I have 10 toes.
Right.
Because it's true. Just because we experience it frequently does not mean that it discounts its worth of a blessing.
Right.
Oh, wow, I love this.
Right. And when you travel a lot, as you know, I travel a lot for work, there's things I've seen that no video, no movie, no book could have ever given me that experience. When you see things out there, people suffering, or like the suffering in the sense that not everything is hunky-dory. Some countries
Correct.
you go to are marred by a lot of poverty.
Correct.
And at home we have people complaining. Some people have that, like it's super, like you go parts of Asia where they probably have, you know, what can I use? Wheelchair bound and still, you know, really in abject poverty.
True.
Then you really look at your life. I don't care what you're going through, but you'll be grateful.
Correct.
You will be grateful.
Correct. There's someone who I attended a masterclass in the end of January, and there's this one lady who said something that stuck with me since then. I think I've said it on the podcast before. She said, Yvette, one day the universe, I'll say it using your name, Shee, one day the universe had a question and you were the answer.
Oh.
And you came to this world.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So find your why.
Yeah. We all have lots to be grateful for. I know
Correct.
everyone's life has ups and downs,
True.
but we really have to, you know, positively think. And I really want to talk about or interject and say positive thinking. This my husband tells me every time. Remember, sometimes we say it as a joke. I don't have money. I will never. These are really bad. That's what the devil
Power of the
uses.
tongue.
Yeah.
True.
Power of the tongue holds life and death.
Correct.
You gotta speak positive
You
about
have
yourself.
to.
Even
You
when you
have
don't
to.
believe it.
Be the
Speak.
Lulu about it.
Right.
I swear to God, that's so true.
Right.
I believe that 110% because if you can will it, if you can think it, if you can believe it,
Right.
then achieving it is just the cherry on top.
Right.
Thank you so much, babe. Like, I've loved having this conversation with you. Please make sure you go to @cultural_home decor
Right.
to see the amazing, great things you do. Follow her life. You're my hope.
Oh,
You give
that's
me
very
reason.
humbling.
You give me sense to know that choosing myself can never be wrong.
That's very humbling.
And that
I appreciate it.
somebody else's life does not have to fit my script.
Right.
Everyone has their own tale to tell,
Their own journey.
their own journey, and you slay through it, honey. Come on. I love the drip.
It's very humbling.
I love how you're always like very chic. You know, like you just give us enough to want more.
Oh, that's
It's
very
just
kind of
inborn
you
in
to
you.
say.
Like everybody has their own gifts and talent, and you've been the same person for the last, I think, 10, 12 years I've known you.
Right.
Babe, you've been the same.
I feel like it's
always.
even been more.
I swear
Maybe
it's
it's
been
15
more.
or 16.
I agree.
Right.
It's been more because
Right.
I remember the days for Mercy and Danu. That's a while back.
Right.
A while back.
I mean, I saw you and there you are. I thought to myself, wow, what a beautiful girl. And then look at you, you're still the same.
Oh,
like
thank you.
You really look amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Takes one to know one.
you're kind.
As we are in this season of waiting, we have to wait in style.
Hey, I agree with you on that one.
We cannot drop the ball now.
How naho? You
How
have to.
naho? Yes, here. This is where we are.
Right, absolutely.
Any parting shot for, if you probably, because this is Dubai Diastories, is obviously just shedding light about living in the diaspora and everything. For
Right.
someone who has dreams maybe to live outside but doesn't know, is feeling hopeless or might not know where to start, what would be your parting shot and your advice for someone who has big dreams and probably they're feeling stuck back home?
Right. I feel like Dubai, and I know connections also matter here, but more so like in Kenya, you have to know someone to get a job, to then, I mean, in Kenya it's a little bit difficult,
True.
the professional or the employment field. But here, if you just go to a website, say you want to work for Hilton, just go www.hilton, look for who's hiring vacancies. I feel like there's no, would we say, Juano, Sana.
Yes.
I know. I'm sure it's there in maybe
It
the
is there,
higher,
the higher rank.
Yeah,
It
the higher
does-
ranks.
I think for entry,
Right,
it's
entry
gut,
level.
prayer and faith.
Absolutely.
But then once you have experience, that's where now what we call WASDA, which is connections, comes
Right,
in.
right.
Because like for me, my first job, to be very honest, I was in a coffee shop.
Right.
And I've just always had an affinity. My mouth is my life.
I hear you.
And I think it's from being an only child. I used to talk to myself because I didn't have siblings.
Right.
I've always been my own company. Like I'm okay on my own.
I love that.
So this guy used to come and buy coffee at our coffee shop.
Right.
And then some days our Wi-Fi on the TV would be an issue. There was no like Instagram.
No.
Twitter was there, but it was not that prevalent at that time.
Right.
So whenever I'd see the news, because CNN does the loop every 40 minutes, it repeats the stuff. So I'd cram, and when I'm preparing his coffee, I'd be like, oh, you missed today. They talked about this. And then one day he just told me, you have potential to sell. Like you have convincing power.
Right.
You academic background. I was like, what academics, my friend? Please.
Right.
We have come to Dubai to hustle.
Right.
And then one day he went to order coffee and I was not there. And then he was told, oh, she's having her break.
Right.
And he found me outside crying. And he was like, what's wrong? And I was like, oh, this guy's not making my visa and everything.
Right.
And I'm scared because I came here when I was 20.
Oh, wow.
Yes, 20. My whole 20s have been in Dubai.
Right.
I turned 21 here. August, I came 20. I turned 21 in November here.
Oh, wow.
So he just looked at me and said, oh, he's not making your visa and you've been working for 2-3 months. Go and tell him to give your passport and come upstairs.
Oh, wow.
Just like that.
That's favor locating you.
That's it.
Wow.
That's it. So these are the things that give me joy when I feel like, oh, the money is not coming, that this is not coming. Exactly what you've just said, babe.
Right.
In a heartbeat, your life can change.
I always say God puts people in a place. If somebody's blocking that door, God will send somebody to open another door for you to walk right through it.
I say only him can open doors no one can shut, and only him can shut doors no one can open.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's powerful.
This has been magical.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
And you have naturally the gift of gab. You've settled in very well. You have no nerves.
Haven't I? I was very nervous, by the
way. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Hopefully we could do this again, and maybe for cultural home decor this time.
Right.
Give them a nice tour.
Yeah.
Show them around, tips and trips. I love this.
Absolutely, but that also goes to you. You really have this thing, the what do you call it? This gift to make your guests feel settled in.
Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't even feel. I was very nervous, but yeah,
fantastic. I mean, agency and kameme. Nerves are nothing to you.
Well, that was a while back. Now I've lost that gift a little, but here you are. You've really made me feel comfortable.
The fire is always there. Yeah. Awesome. All right, let's wind up the podcast. Anything you'd like to say as we close?
No, just thank you for having me.
All right.
Right.
Please make sure you go and follow her. There's a lot of juice. I told you there's a lot to learn. Your home is a reflection of you. So live in a house that you love.
Right.
Until the next time we come your way, I'm Yvette Kikuyu and you are?
I'm Shee Njeru.
And you're watching Dubai Diastories. Stay true, stay you. Bye-bye.
Bye.